Hey guys, Midway Piper back with you today. No pipe. Today is going to be my top reads of 2024. When I started this channel, one of the things that was really piquing my interest was the mixture of another community on YouTube called BookTube, and that was initially my sort of movement into YouTube interests and creation stuff. And of course, then I really started the channel to join the YTPC. So I like both those communities. So that's the point of this channel, my pipes and books videos and whatnot. So today is going to be my top reads of 2024. This is my new office space so far, so it's looking pretty good. There's some of my bookshelves and such back over that way. You'll hear my dog going in and out and being a nut job inside because that's what he does. But yeah, one of these days I'll give you guys a tour of the office space. But for now, the point of the video, top 10 reads of 2024. Very few of these books came out in 2024, but these are the top reads that books I enjoyed the most. So let's get right into it. First book, definitely did not come out this year. Moby Dick. I did read this book for the first time this year. I really enjoyed it. I thought the story was good. Now, a lot of the criticisms that people will say of this book would be that, there's a little too much too many tangents to go off the point of the story. Things like there we go. There you go. You can see some of my notes on here. There's a section on the uses of blubber, butchering whales, uses for whale meat. I thought it was cool, useful stuff. It definitely is not needed in the book. It would make for a much shorter book, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. So, yeah, Moby Dick. And by the way, these are in no specific order. They're just how they're stacked, so that's how we're going. So yeah, Moby Dick, great book, highly recommend that one. Number 2, I don't think I really need to say much about this book. I've done videos. Shadow of the Wind. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about it. If you haven't seen my other videos, Pipes and Books, I've talked about this book a couple times recently, so we'll leave it at that. Fantastic book, probably my book of the year. Check it out. Next up, I don't think anyone is going to accuse me of pigeonholing myself into any one genre of music or of reading. As you'll see, there's quite the diverse collection here. We've got literature, classics, Moby Dick. This is fiction. Next up, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Yes. Fantastic book. Absolutely fantastic book. This is still so relevant today. This really got me doing a deep dive into Stoicism and what Stoicism is all about. And I incorporated the idea of Stoicism into the brand that I created, Midway Apparel. So very impactful book. Read it. All right, these next two, I'll be honest, they're kind of delightfully trashy books. There is not much great value to them other than they were enjoyable fiction reads. Completely the polar opposite of Meditations. Let's get into it. Sherlock Holmes and the Angel of the Opera. This is a crossover of Sherlock Holmes and Phantom of the Opera. I love Sherlock Holmes. Phantom of the Opera in every sense is my jam. And a crossover? Yes. Is it a great work of literature? Not especially. Is it a fantastic book and a great read? Heck yeah. There's a whole series of Sherlock Holmes crossovers with Dracula and, like I said, the polar opposite of Meditations. Great read. Fun stuff. Check it out. This next one, this one's pretty funny. Starter Villain by John Scalzi. I mean, the cover pretty much tells you all you need to know about this book. John Scalzi, I believe, normally does more science fiction. This, I'll just call it a work of fiction. The main character, his sort of estranged uncle, dies and leaves his supervillain business to him. Yeah, it's fantastic. Cat spies. I mean, it's just, yes. Starter Villain. Pick it up. Read it. Absolutely funny. Hilarious. Great book. Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it for the funny reads. Those two are great. Now we're on to a little bit more impactful stuff. John Knox, Fearless Faith. This is sort of a biography of John Knox and the Scottish Protestant Revolution. Fantastically well written. Stephen Lawson. It's a shorty. It's a short book, but great stuff, and it just sort of highlights what was happening with Protestantism and leading all the way up to the creation of the King James Bible. Good book, obviously. Next up, Duties of Parents by J.C. Ryle. I've talked quite a bit about J.C. Ryle on this channel and most of my Pipes and Books videos. This was the book. I got this a while ago, actually, a number of years ago. And pretty much every year since my son was born, I've read this book. It's super thin, super small. It's a great read, great guide, direction of parenting, things of that sort. And this year, after reading this is what really got me kickstarted on my J.C. Ryle kick. And now I have a whole bunch of J.C. Ryle. I've got a couple J.C. Ryle books over there that I'm currently reading. Expository thoughts on the New Testament series I'm looking up because they're right up there. But yeah, I'll show you guys all that stuff later. Last three. This one shocked me because it seems so not interesting. Didn't seem like something I would really like. Pardon me. Free advertising. Okay. It was a fantastic read. I think I got this at a used book sale, a library sale for like $1. Enough. Oh, sorry, it's got one of those crazy library glossy cover things on it, but The Professor and the Madman. The Tale of Murder, Insanity, and the Making of the Oxford English Dictionary. Yeah, the Making of the Oxford Dictionary. I know. Fantastic read. Check this one out. Audio version is really good too on this one, as well as most of these really that I did the audio versions of. I'll go through in just a minute and show you which ones I did on audio. Second to last, and again, these are in no particular order. The Sinner and the Saint. Dostoevsky and the Gentleman Murderer Who Inspired a Masterpiece. I I'm a huge Dostoevsky fan, and this book was absolutely fantastic. It gives a little more context to Crime and Punishment. If you've read that story, it gives some context about what was going on in Dostoevsky's life when he wrote Crime and Punishment. Very enjoyable read. I had no idea. I'd never heard about the book. I had no idea it was coming out until I saw it on the shelf in the bookstore, and I got it, and very happy to have read that one. And finally, this is probably the beefiest book on the list. Moby Dick will give it a run for its money. But Van Gogh, The Life. It's a chunker. It is a chunker. It's the life history of Vincent van Gogh. I'm a Van Gogh fan. And that's something I got from my dad. My dad was always a big Vincent van Gogh fan, and I just grew up with Van Gogh paintings and stuff being around, and so I think that's maybe this was the second time I've read this book, was this year. Good stuff. So those are my top books for the year. Van Gogh, I read the physical copy. The Sinner and the Saint, I believe I read the physical copy of. Professor and the Madman, audio, good version. J.C. Ryle, Duties of Parents, read that. Clearly, didn't take long. John Knox, Tiny, read that. Didn't take too long. Starter Villain, audio, fantastic narration. Highly advise that one. Sherlock Holmes and the Angel of the Opera. There is, as far as I know, not an audio version of this, so I read that one. Physically, the physical copy. Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, read physical copy, and did a lot of highlighting throughout the book. So, highlighting, note-taking, yeah. So, I read that one because lots of stuff to go through there. Shadow of the Wind, audio, fantastic narration, highly recommend. However you want to read it, no matter what, you should read it anyways. Great book. So that one. And then Moby Dick, I did both, actually, on this one. I did get the audio, but again, I did take quite the few notes on it. So this one, I would listen to essentially chapters of it, and then I'd go back through and mark it up. So, mix and match. So those are my top books of the year. I think I read something like 65 books or something like that this year. These were the top ones, the ones I enjoyed the most. Like I said, it's quite the eclectic mix. I spent a really long time, I guess a couple of years, primarily just doing sci-fi and fantasy reading. And I just got burnt out on massive series. When you've got 8-9 books in a series, fantasy, I'm talking about you mostly, it's a lot. And a lot of the fantasy stuff that I read, again, it was good, but it didn't need to be that long. And if the series isn't already complete and a new book comes out the next year, you got to reread what you've read so far. so you're caught up when the new book comes out. So I got really burnt out on doing that. So yeah, not really much science fiction or fantasy at all this year. I've really grown my classics, especially the Penguin classics. I've been collecting a lot of those this year, so there should probably be a lot of that on the reading list for next year. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my top books for the year. Thank you all for watching, if you stuck around, and I'll be back probably out in the woods smoking a pipe in the next video. I don't know. We'll see. We've got some frigid cold weather coming, it sounds like, so maybe we'll be doing some more videos in here. Who knows? All right, cool. Have a good one. Happy New Year. New Year, new you. Just joking. I hate that catchphrase. Have a good one.